In Colonial Williamsburg, the holiday season brings a unique charm to this historic town. Known for its carefully restored 18th century buildings and its rich connection to America's past, Williamsburg transforms each December into a wonderland of greenery and imagination. At the heart of this transformation is one of the area's most iconic holiday traditions, the Christmas wreaths. In this holiday-inspired adventure throughout the city, we'll uncover the fascinating history behind the Christmas wreaths of Colonial Williamsburg, exploring their origins and enduring appeal. These wreaths aren't just decorations, they're symbols of creativity, community, and a celebration of history. Together, we'll explore the famous Duke of Gloucester Street, as well as uncover just a couple hidden gems found on Francis and Nicholson Streets. Along the way, we'll admire homes decorated with artistic wreaths and share stories about the people who once lived in these historic places, blending Williamsburg's rich history with the festive spirit of the season. Step back in time and celebrate Christmas with us as we venture throughout Colonial Williamsburg. The story of Williamsburg's Christmas wreaths doesn't actually begin in colonial times. It started in the early 20th century during the restoration of the historic area. In the 1930s, as part of the colonial revival movement, Americans became fascinated with their colonial heritage. This movement helped bring Williamsburg, Virginia, back to life with the help of philanthropist John D. Rockefeller Jr. To celebrate the holidays and pay tribute to history, the townspeople started making natural wreaths using materials like pine, holly, fruit, and other greenery that colonists might have used. These wreaths weren't based on exact colonial traditions. Instead, they were inspired by the works of Luca della Robbia, an Italian Renaissance sculptor known for decorating with seasonal fruits, vegetables, flowers, and foliage in a way that made his design stand out. The della Robbia style became the foundation for Williamsburg's iconic wreaths, blending art and nature into something truly special. In colonial times, settlers in Virginia brought English traditions with them, like using greenery to brighten their homes in the dark winter months. Holly, ivy, and other evergreens were likely used, but decorations were modest and usually indoors on mantels, windowsills, or tables. The Williamsburg wreaths we know today grew out of these early traditions. By the 20th century, the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation turned simple wreath making into an art form. What started as a nod to the past has become a beloved holiday tradition, blending history with festive creativity. Built in the early 18th century, the Custis tenement was originally owned by John Custis IV, a wealthy planter and a councilman known for his sharp wit and eccentric personality. His home, celebrated for its simplicity, adorned with wreaths and festive decor, warmly invited us in for a closer look on a very cold December day in Virginia.
Looks like we have some pine, some apples, some Granny Smiths, maybe some Red Delicious apples. One of the things I like about homes is when they have little hidden nuggets, like a little cubby hole almost. And it looks like some walnuts and cranberries, and just a little hidden stash of holiday glee tucked away inside this vented compartment to enhance the home's holiday appearance. Very nice.
The property became part of the Custis family estate, eventually passing to Custis's grandson, Daniel Park Custis. Upon Daniel's death in 1757, his widow, Martha Custis, inherited the tenement along with vast lands and wealth. Martha later married our country's first president, George Washington, in 1759, which brought the rental property under his care as well.
Lots of garland. Look at these little fixtures here. You got a little ringlet of cranberries. It's the little accents that really make it stand out.
While the Washingtons resided at Mount Vernon, the tenement in Williamsburg was rented out, providing income for their household. This modest structure, tied to two of Virginia's most prominent families, offers a glimpse into colonial society and the economic strategies of the era.
And everything matches and aligns with the other decorations they have on the lantern outside, on all the window panes, adding to the allure of the holiday season. So very festive first stop along our wreath tour in Colonial Williamsburg. Let's see what else we can discover. And this should give you an idea of how cold it is. That's the horse's pail, and it's frozen solid. And this little house right here has always been one of my favorites. It's parked right behind the community Christmas tree. When that tree gets turned on, it literally casts a soft glow all over the colonial home, and would definitely be a sight to see looking out your front window.
Aside from its beautiful wreath, this small colonial home, located near the Powder Magazine, features a large and beautiful evergreen tree nearby its front yard. Every December, this tree transforms into a sparkling community Christmas tree adorned with countless lights that bring holiday cheer to everyone who gathers to see it lit.
It looks like it's pretty much a floral wreath.
Yeah, it looks like all flowers. I can't tell if those are artichokes.
I'm not sure what those are. It's just a little colonial home. This is one I'm highly interested in staying in one day, if possible.
Peyton Randolph was one of the most influential figures in Williamsburg, serving as the Speaker of the Virginia House of Burgesses and the first President of the Continental Congress. As we approached his residence, his wreath arrangements and home decor for the holidays came into clear view.
But we're walking upon the Peyton Randolph house, and it's got some pretty elaborate decorations outside. From a distance here, I can see what appears to be some James River oyster shells. But let's go take a closer look at Peyton's house. Here we are. And it looks like he's got a similar arrangement up top of the doorway entrance as he does on the front door. They've got like a double wreath set up. It looks like some seashells, some oyster shells. What is that? Artichokes and pomegranates. I see some dried flowers. And then the pine roping around the entranceway.
The use of greenery in winter celebrations is an ancient practice, predating the colonies by centuries. Long before Christmas became widely celebrated, European traditions incorporated evergreen plants like mistletoe, ivy, and holly as symbols of life and renewal during the darkest months of the year.
And over here, on the western wing of the Peyton Randolph house, the original side of it, it looks like they've got, is that a spruce wreath?
I'm not sure what that is.
One of the defining features of Williamsburg wreaths is their emphasis on natural, organic materials. Unlike modern store-bought wreaths adorned with synthetic ornaments, these decorations relied on what the land provided.
I've never seen these kind of like little tiny pomegranates, but I've only ever seen like huge ones. So
Yeah.
that's really, really cool that they're like mini. Kind of like the mini pineapples you see sometimes.
It is like a mini pineapple. It's definitely neat how they make everything coincide with all the other arrangements around a specific location.
Each wreath has its own design, crafted to reflect the character of the building it decorates. From prominent landmarks to a humble tradesman's shop, each wreath offers a glimpse into the lives and stories of those who once lived and worked here.
And here we are at our next location. On the home here, right beside the front door, is a cornucopia, aka the Horn of Plenty.
Built in the mid-18th century, the William Lightfoot House reflects the legacy of its owner, a prominent planter, merchant, and attorney.
That's something I don't believe I've ever seen along Duke of Gloucester. It looks like it's got some cedar and some spruce. I see apples and pomegranates. Now those small apples, what are they? They're not Lady Galas. They're like, there's a name for those small apples and I can't think of it. Can you think of it?
Not an apple expert.
It's like a lady finger.
I don't think lady fingers are those things that you make at Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is a Lady Gala.
Lightfoot acquired the property in the 1760s and held it until his death in 1809. He was known for his success in the tobacco trade and legal practice.
They've got little corner arrangements in each of the windows, which is a nice touch. It looks like there's apples and pomegranates and a mixture of magnolia and some sort of spruce and cedar. I believe that's what it is. And what do we have down here? A little hidden compartment under the brick foundation porch. You never know what's lingering inside there. The secrets of Dog Street. Definitely is an arrangement that fits well along this famous street. No doubt about it. And sometimes it's the lesser seen areas in Williamsburg where you can find surprises at. Because if you look right back there, there's a hawk perched in that tree. Let me see if I can get a closer look.
I almost thought it was an owl.
Oh yeah, there he is. Just having a lazy day in Williamsburg. And if you look all the way down this alleyway, you can see the front side of the Williamsburg Inn. But that's not where we're going. We're going to our next destination. The next leg of our journey takes us to Nicholson Street, And sometimes you've got to go to the side roads to find special finds. And this one, to me, we were taking a walk yesterday and passed by. Didn't take a closer look then, but we knew it was worthy of coming in for a more detailed perspective.
This brick stable tucked away on Nicholson Street tells the story of Williamsburg's working colonial landscape. While its exact history was unclear to us, structures like this were essential to everyday life, housing horses and supplies that powered transportation and trade. Probably connected to a nearby home or business, it highlights the practical needs of colonial Virginia.
What do we have here, Sarah? That's the maize, right?
I think those are mini ornamental corns. I don't know if you can eat them or not.
And they have incorporated what looks like cedar leaves, and little tiny berries on it. I think that's cedar.
Little wheelbarrows.
I've got to be honest, like this right here, wheelbarrow, I thought it was pronounced a wheelbarrow. And I have a feeling I'm not the only one that thought that, but it's a wheelbarrow.
Rakes, gardening hoe.
It's a very interesting wreath.
A neat cobblestone pathway led to the stable doors, enhancing its historical character and connection to the community. Adorned with a simple holiday wreath we were happy to have found, the stable still felt alive with a festive and cozy vibe. Soon, we noticed some interesting features around the building, prompting us to take a quick peek at its surroundings.
Behind it, there's a pretty interesting discovery on the second story here. If you look up here, you can see a doorway, and it's actually got a couple ledges where you could place something outside the door. But it does make you wonder what lies behind that door, as well as you've got a brick walkway here and what appears to be some sort of brick fire pit.
Combined with the intriguing details of its backyard, this humble structure left us with more questions than answers. A quiet reminder of Williamsburg's layered and often hidden past. The reconstructed Mary Stith House, also called the Music Teacher's Shop, located on the Duke of Gloucester Street, is a reminder of one woman's quiet resilience and determination in colonial Virginia.
All right, and here we are walking up on one of my favorite all-time houses in Williamsburg. It's the Mary Stith House. Her home is always decorated with a very nice wreath. And look at this one. Sarah, what do we have here?
Look at the little mouse.
Oh yeah, I got a little mouse character in there and some lotus pods. That's a centerpiece of a pomegranate. And this is holly right here.
This rustic brick building was associated with Mary Stith, the daughter of Reverend William Stith, who served as president of the College of William and Mary. During the holiday season, her home takes on a festive style, blending historical simplicity with seasonal beauty.
I just love the brick house, the pine garland style overlays over the doorways. You got a double entrance here and a sort of bay window with the same pine roping of some sort over top. Just gives it a really nice touch.
It's easy to imagine this recreated home as a peaceful dwelling during the cold Virginia winters back then. The air surrounding it, rich with the fresh scent of pine and cedar.
Beside that wreath is this wreath, and it looks like it's a similar arrangement. I do see another little mouse and
Oh look, they're acorns. It's the top
yeah,
of an acorn.
the ears are acorns. Well, his head is an acorn.
In her 1813 will, She emancipated her enslaved individuals and gave her house, lot, and most of her estate to 3 former slaves in gratitude for their past services.
So it's always nice to hear stuff like that when you realize the owner recognized the issues, the many issues with slavery, and actually gave the house to the slaves that once worked inside of it. So always good to hear that.
It is thought that Mary resided here until her death, somewhere around 1860.
Definitely want to let it be known that Sarah and I are withstanding very cold temperatures. After many years coming to Williamsburg throughout the year, but especially in the holidays, this is probably the coldest I can ever remember it. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, for sure. It's a different kind of cold.
Yeah, it's like Arctic cold. And it's also very windy, so it makes it much colder with the wind gust blowing over us. But we're on the Palace Green right now, and not going to do our typical stops of every place on this tour. Right now we are going to one of the more popular places, and that's the Robert Carter house, because he's always got a pretty elaborate arrangement right there on his banister, as well as his over top the house. So we're going to go check that out right now.
The Robert Carter House, located on Palace Green Street, Colonial Williamsburg, stands as a testament to the architectural elegance and complex history of 18th century Virginia.
All right, here we are at the Robert Carter house. And from this distance away, I can definitely see the wreath is large as usual for this house during the holidays.
Every Christmas, Colonial Williamsburg brings the house to life with natural, elegant holiday arrangements.
So that has a lot of, what is that, seashells or?
Different shells, looks like oyster shells, and I think those might have been those scallops.
Scallops? It looks like oranges, and what else is on there?
Grapefruit.
And then up top here, look up top.
Oh wow, that would be really heavy.
Now didn't last year he had Granny Smith's?
I think so.
I know that it always has, it seems like the centerpiece of the pineapple.
Did you say those are magnolia leaves around
Yeah,
it?
the back of it is magnolia leaves, I think.
Robert Carter III, grandson of the influential Robert King Carter, purchased this house on May 7th, 1761 from his cousin. He also inherited vast estates and numerous enslaved individuals from his grandfather. In a remarkable move from his time, Carter executed a deed of gift in 1791, initiating the gradual emancipation of more than 500 enslaved people, marking one of the largest individual acts of liberation in U.S. history.
A garland all around the porch.
Those are matching on both sides.
So that kind of matches the piece up top.
I see the feathers in these.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Inside this house, 9 of Carter's 17 children were born here, with 3 of them being laid to rest in Bruton Parish Churchyard, just a short walk down the street. I wondered how many of them as youngsters loved this time of year.
They look good to complement the door. And as always, my favorite, this huge key lock. Look at that.
Situated just footsteps from the brilliant Governor's Palace, experiencing this historic home during the holidays is truly remarkable. A perfect harmony of natural elegance, tradition, and the timeless allure of Williamsburg's past. Tarpley, Thompson and Company shop, located on the Duke of Gloucester Street in Colonial Williamsburg, was a prominent mercantile established in the 18th century. During the holiday season here in the modern day, the shop's exterior is adorned with traditional Williamsburg-style decorations, blending natural elements with classic Christmas appeal. This year, we quickly learned it was no different, a creation that Sarah, in particular, was especially fond of.
And here we are at the front of the Tarpley, Thompson and Company, and look what they have adorning their front porch area. Look at that, Sarah.
Oh, wow.
That's right up your alley.
I think this is one of my favorites so far.
Yeah?
It looks like they've taken the fabrics and kind of like fastened it or glued it to these. I think that they might be scallop shells.
Scallops are pretty big, right?
Originally operated by merchant James Tarpley in the late 1750s and early 1760s, the shop provided essential goods and services for Williamsburg's community. Tarpley later partnered with John Thompson, and the two worked together until Tarpley's untimely passing in 1764.
And then all around the entranceway of the store is the pine roping. And here's the second porchway. This one definitely has some sophistication to it.
Yeah, those look like the same shells that are used in the other one. They just attach the fabric to it.
Today, the Tarpley, Thompson and Company shop stands as a window into Williamsburg's colonial economy. At Christmas time, its decorations not only honor the season, but also celebrate the history and traditions that make this historic town so extraordinary.
And we're coming across another one on Duke of Gloucester Street, another well-known shop, a place of much medicinal purpose.
The apothecary shop in Colonial Williamsburg represents the essential role of 18th century medicine, offering a glimpse into the healthcare practice of the era. During the holiday season, its festive decorations combine historical integrity with its role as a wintertime haven of healing and wellness.
As you can see right here, they've got this, what would you call this, Sarah? Kind of like a
teeny tiny pine cones.
yeah, tiny pine cones
It's
and like an arrangement with like a plant portrait of some sort. Feverfew and hyssop. You know anything about that?
The feverfew, I think, is good for headaches, and the hyssop, they say, has antioxidant properties.
Antioxidant properties, and feverfew was the Tylenol of its day, it sounds like.
In colonial Virginia, apothecaries were indispensable to the community, acting as pharmacists, physicians, and advisors. They diagnosed illnesses, prepared remedies, and provided critical treatments for ailments ranging from fevers to injuries.
And then the apothecary portrait up there, framed in the miniature pine cones, similar to those on the windowsills.
Williamsburg's apothecary, operated by Dr. William Pasteur and Dr. John Minson Galt, played a vital role in tending to the town, particularly during the colder months when cold and sickness were prevalent.
And here's the other one with peppermint and comfrey. Two more medicinal plants. And what are those?
And peppermint is really good for digestive issues or nausea, to settle your stomach.
That's something you stand by religiously.
Yes.
Sarah always carries a candy cane, actually, from our Christmas tree. And we have so many on the tree all year long. She'll take those and keep them in her purse, because if she gets a little bit of a sore stomach, she likes to chew on a peppermint stick.
I think this one is also good for digestive issues, but also good for like joint pain or muscle pain.
Comfrey and peppermint. So good in the 18th century as well as the 21st century?
Yes.
Borders of greenery, small sprigs of dried herbs, and natural handcrafted decor all reflect the apothecary's trade, connecting the holiday spirit to to the shop's historical purpose.
All right, and off to our next location, and this one never fails to astonish you with the craftsmanship of the arrangement. We're headed to the King's Arms Tavern, and we're going to see what the arrangement looks like this year, and I can guarantee you it's going to be impressive, as it is every year.
Established in 1772 by the enterprising tavern keeper Jane Vogue, the King's Arms Tavern quickly became a favored gathering place for both locals and travelers, offering a genteel atmosphere where the best people resorted.
Here we are. On this side of the tavern, we have the sign of hospitality hovering at the bottom of it with the pineapple. And Sarah, I think those are oyster shells.
Yeah, those are definitely oyster shells. And that looks like a regular sized pineapple. That doesn't look like the mini ones.
During its heyday, the tavern wasn't just a dining establishment. It was a hub of colonial life. Patrons could enjoy hearty meals, find warm lodging on chilly nights, and engage in lively discussions about news of the day. And it wouldn't surprise me that probably during the holidays, the King's Arms Tavern would have been a festive location. A place to share in a few pints of ale, warm up by a blazing fire, and engage in some heated discussion regarding political events and happenings.
But right now I'm looking up at the chimney stack on King's Arms Tavern, and typically on a non-windy day, it's just smoke billowing out of it. But today the smoke is really pouring out of it fast because the wind is pushing so fast that it's just blowing out of the chimney. And let's walk over here to the Alexander Purdy house, the other end of the King's Arms Tavern, and see what these wreaths look like. Quite similar to the main entrance of the tavern, keeping a cohesive look.
While its holiday touches reflect modern interpretations, they evoke the spirit of 18th century colonial gatherings, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere that continues to enchant visitors year after year. Nestled on East Francis Street in Colonial Williamsburg stands the Quarter, a modest yet historically rich 19th century cottage. This humble home has been a part of many fascinating stories from more modern day history, including serving as the temporary residence of famed actor Cary Grant during the 1940 filming of The Howards of Virginia.
And what is this? It looks like it's got, is that dried artemisia around it? Kind of looks like it.
Maybe.
And then it's like a grapevine wreath.
There's some wheat. Looks like there's like a silk scarf or there's some kind of fabric behind it. You see?
Oh, yeah.
This year's unique wreath at the entrance reflects the timeless customs Colonial Williamsburg has celebrated since wreaths first adorned its doors in the 1930s.
What's that in the middle? But they do have like a spiky center to it.
The home's proximity to the Williamsburg Inn and central location make it a coveted lodging choice for history enthusiasts and visitors seeking a memorable experience in the historic area of Williamsburg, especially for fans of Cary Grant during the holidays.
Colonial Williamsburg was a mini Hollywood during the filming of one of Cary Grant's well-known films, all the way back in 1940. Still going strong.
I could almost picture Sarah and me watching The Bishop's Wife here, a favorite Christmastime film starring Cary Grant, that we love watching together every year during the holidays, and sometimes even before.
I was instructed to come here in answer to your prayer.
Who are you?
I'm an angel.
Stepping off the city's main path to explore the city's parallel streets reveals festive gems like this one and other holiday discoveries decked out for Christmas, all of which add to Williamsburg's seasonal splendor.
Here we are at another well-known shop in Williamsburg to see their arrangement this year. They always have a rather large arrangement on their banister outside the front door. And we're at the Millinery.
During the holidays, the Millinery shop on the Duke of Gloucester Street embraces the spirit of the season with unique decorations that reflect both historical authenticity and creative expression.
And once again, one of the better known shops in Williamsburg, the Millinery, has quite the wreath outside.
Margaret Hunter established the shop around the 1770s when it was a cornerstone of Williamsburg's fashion scene. This year's wreath incorporates elements from the traditional 1744 English nursery rhyme, Oranges and Lemons. It features actual oranges, lemons, and bells covered in maps, each pinpointing the location of various parishes in and around the city of London, England.
And as the winds of Williamsburg blow, take a closer look at the wreath and what this bell says. It says, "Orange and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's." Not sure if there's actually a bell. Yeah, you can actually hear the bell. It looks like there's different sayings on each of them. What's this one say? "When will you pay me? Say the bells at Old Bailey." The wreath of the Millinery. The leaves of fall have fallen, and winter is nigh at the Millinery shop. And you can see inside there, one of the milliners is hard at work, fulfilling today's orders just in time for the holiday rush.
The Millinery shop's holiday decorations never fail to impress. Each year, visitors walking down the Duke of Gloucester Street look forward to its creative and historically inspired designs, making it a must-see stop during Christmastime in Colonial Williamsburg. Each holiday season, when Colonial Williamsburg prepares to adorn its historic buildings with festive decorations, one can only begin to imagine the creative process that takes place in the minds of the talented wreath-making artisans. In the lead up to the 2024 holiday season, the designer of the wreath placed on the door of the John Coke office, located on East Duke of Gloucester Street, features a remarkable creation.
This is definitely creative, how they've incorporated a log and fire, flames, which appear to be made out of, is that feather? All that's feather?
It almost looks like hair.
That's not a real log, is it?
So look at the side of it. It's like they've banded it together. That looks like hair.
I definitely see some feathers, some burgundy and yellow feathers, some hollies intermixed.
That is so creative.
It's definitely a creative wreath. One like I've never seen here.
The home, once owned by John and Rebecca Shields Coke in 1806, has its own unique story. While the specifics of Coke's business remain unclear, it offers a glance into the working life of early 19th century Williamsburg.
But what is not unknown is the fact that his wreath is one of the best ones in Williamsburg. So someone was feeling the flames of creativity when they thought up this one and brought it to life.
As the burning Yule log wreath casts its glow of holiday imagination, it reminds each visitor to the colonial capital of Virginia, including us, that even the smallest corners of history here can illuminate the spirit of Christmas. As we wrap up our journey through the holiday traditions of Colonial Williamsburg, it's impossible not to feel a deeper connection to the stories that these homes, shops, and wreaths quietly tell. This season, Williamsburg offers more than just its enchanting streets. It invites us to imagine what life might have been like. The cold winters, the warm gatherings, the laughter shared behind candlelit windows. There's something special about stepping into history and seeing it dressed up for the season. It reminds us all that the holidays aren't just about traditions and decorations. They're about connections to each other, to the past, and to the narratives that shape us. Sarah and I both hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to life. Thank you for joining us on this quest through Williamsburg at Christmastime. And as a gift to everyone out there, here's a bonus wreath we'd like to share. It's actually a major award so spectacular, it could only have been delivered in an oversized wooden crate. James Anderson's blacksmith shop, established in the late 18th century, was a hub of industrious activity in Williamsburg. But this holiday season, his old shop has taken its creativity to the next level with a wreath inspired by one of the 20th century's most iconic Christmas films, A Christmas Story.
And I believe this may be one of our favorites just because we're avid Christmas Story film fans. And it looks like blacksmith James Anderson went all out on this rendition of the infamous leg lamp.
Anderson, who served as the public armorer during the Revolutionary War, ran a blacksmith shop that played a key role in producing and repairing tools, hardware, and weaponry needed for the war effort.
Look at that lampshade, Sarah. That is great.
It's even got nails for the lamp's tassels. That is so cool.
And is that a window frame and a curtain? If the viewers could only see what it looks like from out here, that might take the top prize right there. Oh, that's pretty rugged, and I like it. Fragile.
The theme cleverly bridges the gap between the 20th century cultural icon and the handy craftsmanship of Colonial Williamsburg wreath makers.
A little 20th century humor for an 18th century colonial wreath.
Until next time, may your season be filled with warmth, wonder, and the kind of joy that carries through the years.